Hi dear Capricorns, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of April. This year, April is quite busy thanks to the eclipse that we have in Aries. And also we've got a Mercury retrograde in Aries, and then we've got the rare conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter. And finally, at the end of April, we've got a full moon in Scorpio. So let's begin. Normally, April is a time when Capricorns focus on their home lives, family life, real estate matters, the emotional foundations, because the planets transit through your fourth house. The planets transit through Aries in Aries during April and late March, and then towards the end of April, your focus will slowly start shifting towards your children, creativity, romance, hobbies, leisure, because the Sun will enter Taurus. And so, on the very first day of April, we've got Mercury stationing retrograde on the 27th degree of Aries, and this means that Mercury will be retrograding in your fourth house. Fourth house is the rules our family, our parents, especially the mother. It rules the people we live with. It rules the place we live at. Okay, it rules our ancestors. It rules our emotional foundations. And so, Mercury retrograde means you will have to go back to something in that area and resolve it, do it again, maybe, communicate, discuss something, maybe, something that had been neglected, and now it's time to go back and fix it. And then, generally, Mercury retrograde times are the times of misunderstandings, delays, and miscommunications, because communication is ruled by Mercury, transportation is ruled by Mercury, electronics are ruled by Mercury. So all of these things are affected during Mercury retrograde. So, dear Capricorns, make sure you check your emails twice before sending it. Make sure you are untagging the person who's not supposed to see the email. Don't accidentally send the email to the entire company or something. Don't forget to attach important files to the email when you send them. Because this is a period when the trickster planet Mercury messes up those things. And also, Mercury rules electronics, as I said, so our phones might malfunction, social media apps are down sometimes during Mercury retrograde. So, delays in communication, basically. What else? We also tend to become much more forgetful when Mercury is retrograde. Last year, during Mercury retrograde, I forgot my keys at work. That rarely happens to me. I always make sure that I have my phones and my keys, but for some reason on that day, I forgot my I forgot my keys at work. I come home, I'm like, where are my keys? And then I suddenly remember that I left it on my desk. And then another time, last winter, I forgot my phone at work. like Nowadays phones are always on our hands. How could I have forgotten my phone at work? So these are Mercury retrograde tricks. Be mindful of that. Maybe create a mini checklist that you check before leaving the house each morning, or any place actually. And then, if you are thinking of traveling, dear Capricorns, in April, be mindful that the chances of flight delays, flight cancellations increase during Mercury retrograde. So, make sure you know the airline policies in case of flight cancellations, flight delays, because sometimes they have to reimburse you for that, and generally the public doesn't know these things because the airlines don't want you to know these things. And there are plenty of TikTok videos where they explain these small details about traveling, so I would recommend checking it out. And also I would suggest getting one of those Apple tags for your suitcase, because luggages tend to also get lost a lot during Mercury retrograde. So in case it does happen, you can easily locate your luggage through that tag. Okay. What else do I need to mention? So because this Mercury retrograde is happening in Aries, the communication tends to become a bit more aggressive, get to the point faster, or people might tend to be more rude around this time, and also impulsive in speech, maybe say things they did not really want to say. Yeah, there is a possibility like that. So be patient with people. Watch for be mindful of your words and actions, because Mercury rules communication. Maybe you will impulsively say something, so watch your words. So generally be patient and be flexible in April. I would also try avoid signing contracts in April, because contract agreements are ruled by Mercury as well. So if like I would avoid it. I would postpone it until May, or even better until mid-May. But even if you do have to sign it in April, be mindful that like the terms might change a little later, or you might not fulfill that contract completely because of changed circumstances and stuff. Just be mindful of that. But I shouldn't make you guys worried, because last year I did sign my work contract during Mercury retrograde, and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, Mercury is retrograde. Does it mean I'll get fired, or does it mean does it mean I'll quit? But no, what happened was apparently they were negotiating the contract when they hired me to increase the salary. So they said, just sign the old contract, and when we do reach the agreement, we will have you sign the updated contract. And it did happen actually like that. So even if you do have to sign it, don't worry. Just make sure you know all the details, that make sure you understood everything properly in terms and agreements. But also the other possibility that I warned you about might also happen. Like 5 years ago, I signed again my work contract during Mercury retrograde, and it was a 1 year contract, but I ended up quitting that job before the end of the contract. So that is also a possibility. That's why it is advised to wait until Mercury is direct. All right. And so that is it for Mercury retrograde. Next is on April 4th or 5th, depending on where you live, Venus will enter Aries, and Venus will stay in Aries until April 29th. So basically most of April, Venus is going to be in Aries. And for you, dear Capricorns, this is your 4th house. As I said, April is very much about your home life. And so when Venus enters your home area, it will bring like peace and harmony, like even more of it. Like, I'm not saying you have like an unpeaceful house. Like, it's gonna make home life feel much more pleasant than usual. Maybe it will bring the mood to like beautify your home, like maybe make some changes around your house. Maybe this Venus will make you buy something new and beautiful, some beautiful decoration for your house. That is also a possibility. Or if you're dealing with real estate stuff, Venus's presence will make sure that the contract is fair, the agreement is fair and stuff. And so, generally, when Venus is transiting Aries, we all tend to become bolder, like more confident and assertive in terms of romance. Because Venus rules romance, right? And Aries is the first sign. And Aries likes making the first move. So when Venus is in Aries, we tend to act a bit more like Aries in romance. So single Capricorns, maybe this will be the time when you like ask that person out for dinner, or maybe someone will ask you out because they feel brave enough to ask you out during this period. All right. So next, on April 8th, we've got that new moon solar eclipse in Aries on the 19th degree of Aries. So dear Capricorns, if you have your placements near the 19th degree of Capricorn, you will feel it more than other Capricorns. So like, let's say your rising sign around the 19th degree of Capricorn, maybe your sun around the 19th degree of Capricorn, like if you were born around January 10th, yeah, so you will feel it more than others. So this new moon solar eclipse should bring big changes in your home life. Some Capricorns might move. Some Capricorns might renovate their house completely because eclipses are rare in that area of your life. We only get the North Node Aries eclipses once every 18 years. So last time you had this exact eclipses would be like 2005 and 2006. So try to remember, how was your home life back then? What happened in your family life back then? Did major changes happen back then? Like, was it like an important period in your mother's life? Did something significant happen in your mother's life? Maybe one of your parents' lives. Did something like, was that the time when you bought your first house? Was that the time when you found out something about your family? Because similar themes will happen again because eclipses activate those themes. And so, yeah, like major changes in home life, family life, and this one is like especially about like new beginnings, because North Node is where we accept things, where we welcome new things, okay? South node eclipses are where we have to let go of something, where we have to sacrifice something. But here, north node is like open arms, like, yeah, like come to us, that kind of energy. And then it's happening in Aries. Aries is the first sign. It's a sign of spring, so new beginnings happen. So as you can see, this is like a triple indication of new beginnings, because this is also a new moon eclipse. And so, yeah, triple new beginnings in your home area. Strangely, it might also affect your career life. Dear Sagittarius, I think I've told you that like North Node in Aries transit is not very favorable for career. This year and next year, you're mostly focused on your home life, your family life, and like bringing order, restructuring, making changes in your home life. Uh, Career stuff gets a bit postponed, like I'm being honest. And it doesn't mean you'll be unemployed. No, it's not like that. It's just not the time for like major promotions. Like, yeah, like, so expect big new things in your family life. And so after this, on April 11th, the Sun is going to be conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aries on the 22nd degree of Aries. So as you know, Mercury starts retrograding when it gets a bit too far away from the Sun. So it slowly starts walking back towards the Sun. And so on April 11th, they're going to meet, right? And after this conjunction, Mercury will get behind the Sun. And this is an important period because Mercury will be switching from evening phase to like morning phase, and this is a big shift. And on that day, on April 11th, you might gain some clarity, some understanding, but it's going to be from within, like internally, because Mercury will be between the Sun and the Earth, so it will be internalized. Normally, when Mercury is direct and conjunct the Sun, Mercury is like on the other side of the Sun, from Earth's point of view, but now it's like between them. Mercury is close to Earth, and so we kind of like download all those insights during that conjunction. So you can expect clarity around this time, big ideas, write them down during that time, and also maybe leaders will be giving like a lot of passionate speeches around that period. Next, on April 19th, the Sun will enter Taurus, and so the focus will slowly start shifting from home life towards more like hobbies, leisure, children, romance. And the Sun is going to stay in Taurus until May 20th, as it always does around this time of the year. And so, on the day the Sun enters Taurus, Mercury will be conjunct Venus in Aries, making communication smooth, like reaching agreements much easier, thanks to the diplomatic presence of Venus. Even though Mercury will still be technically retrograde, but Venus's presence helps. And then, after this conjunction, we have the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus on the 21st degree of Taurus. And this is going to happen on April 20th, like one day after the Sun enters Taurus. And so, this conjunction is significant because it happens once every 13 to 14 years. Last time we had this conjunction was 13 years ago. And back then, Uranus was in Aries, Jupiter was also in Aries. And for me personally, that was like a very exciting time. So this time, all the excitement and stuff is going to be related to Taurus themes. And for you, dear Capricorns, this is happening in your 5th house, okay? So 5th house is a house of children, romance, creativity, hobby, leisure. So you can expect bold changes in that area, like a burst of excitement, like adventure. Because Uranus is innovation, futuristic stuff, avant-garde, science, technology, all of that stuff is going to be receiving blessings from the expansive energy of Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, and it's considered the greater benefic. And so whatever Jupiter touches, it tends to become big. And now imagine the innovation of Uranus, like being touched by Jupiter. So it's like big, bold changes in that area of your life. And generally, Taurus rules like finances, food industry and stuff. And so we can expect bold changes in those areas too, generally speaking. And then on April 21st, the Sun in Taurus is going to make a square to Pluto in Aquarius. And this square is happening right after that Jupiter Uranus conjunction, like one day after that. So it's a bit of a crappy aspect after that exciting aspect. But don't worry, this aspect is very short-lived. It's going to be active for like 3 days maximum, and it's going to fade away after that. But the influence of Jupiter and Uranus is more long-term. And so, on April 23rd, we have a full moon in Scorpio, on the 4th degree of Scorpio. And there's Sagittarius, not Sagittarius, Capricorns. This is happening in your area of friendships, networking, organizations, hopes and wishes, business profits. What else? And so, business profits, dreams, as I said, the internet stuff, and the sun will be illuminating your fifth house. So there will be a need for balance between those two. And generally, full moons are the times of clarity, illumination, culmination, achievement. So maybe something will become clear. Will become clear regarding your friendships. Maybe your friend is achieving something, so you're celebrating it with them around that time. Maybe your friend is getting married, so you are celebrating their marriage around that time. So maybe they're experiencing some major milestone, so you're celebrating it with them. And then so generally speaking, also full moons are the times when we are like emotional, moody. So be patient with people, dear Capricorn. I know you guys don't like excessive display of unnecessary emotions, but around full moons people tend to do that because our cups are filled with emotions around that time, like the tides of the ocean. And because we are made of water, 60% of water, right? Like it varies according to articles, but like we are mostly water, and so we are influenced by lunar cycles. And so be patient. The effect of the full moon should last for like 4 days, and so towards the end of April we should be calm, like the effect of the full moon will have faded by then. And another thing that I need to say about this full moon is that it's the first full moon since the Libra lunar eclipse in March. So if nothing happened to you around that eclipse, it might play out around this full moon, because it can happen sometimes. So if nothing happened in March for you, then expect it around this full moon at the end of April. And then on April 25th, Mercury goes direct in Aries, finally. So no more confusion, no more delays, no more misunderstandings regarding your family life, home life, and emotional life, okay? And I wouldn't jump straight to signing agreements and stuff as soon as Mercury turns direct, because it's going to spend a couple of weeks in the shadow zone. So I would wait until May to do those things. And then on April 29th, Venus will enter Taurus until May 23rd. So Venus will leave your home life and enter your fifth house, boosting your creativity, making interactions with children much more pleasant. You can do artsy things with your children around that time. You can go to beautiful places with your children around that time, for those who have children. For others, it might be the time when romance is pleasant, when you go on a lot of dates, because fifth house rules romance. So for single Capricorns, be out and about in May, while Venus is in Taurus. And then on April 30th, Mars will enter Aries until June 9th. And so Mars will bring its hyperactive energy into your house. So, dear Capricorns, be prepared to be active around the house. Maybe if there's something needs to be fixed around the house, use this energy, because you will have the energy to complete those projects, like big projects around the house. So I would say wait until May to do those projects. And also, dear Capricorns, I need to warn you, Mars is a planet of aggression after all. So I'm not saying there's going to be aggression in your house. No, it just means that you'll be much more irritable at home, because maybe like people in the house are acting weird and like making you angry. That is a possibility. I'm not saying like this will happen. I'm just saying there is a possibility. So be patient with your family until early June, and then Mars will leave your fourth house. And so this is it for April, dear Capricorns. As you can see, a lot is happening this month. My monthly horoscopes are usually like 12 minutes, 11 minutes long, but this month it's nearly 20 minutes long. So I hope you guys have a wonderful time during the eclipse. Remember, we are in the eclipse season, so the energy is hectic. Like our routine is a bit off because we are all adapting to the changes brought by the eclipses. And so I assure you that by mid-May, the dust will settle and we will have gotten used to the new normal by then, okay? And we will have relative stability until September, because in September we will have the next eclipses. And so again, a lot of activity will be happening around September. So this is it for April. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my solar eclipse video or my May video. Bye.